So, did you hear there was a recent verdict with Aretha Franklin's disputed will? And this is kind of crazy because we're talking about what was a handwritten, scribbled, could
Right.
barely read legible will from 2014 that was found under her couch. Okay. And she actually had a different will from 2010 that was notarized and had all the things. And the reason why this is kind of interesting is because we had a conflicting will, but then also in most states, when it comes to your will, it has to be signed, it has to be notarized, there has to be witnesses, there's all kinds of things. And so the question was, well, if you have two wills, which one is going to be binding? The one that's notarized, the one that we for sure can say, and then also it's all handwritten. Was it hers? Could someone else have, pretended and written it out? So anyway, let's chat about it.
It was just one of those things where neither one of the wills was prepared by a lawyer. She just kind of whatever. I don't know if you have the will there on your screen.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
But it is crazy. Like I was trying to read it like good luck. Like they had to bring in like a pharmacist to read that thing because it was a lot of pages of chicken scratch. But I mean, Aretha Franklin, just obviously absolute legend, is still killing it even today, like just with the streams that she still generates each month because she's just hit after hit after hit after hit after hit.
Yeah,
She's
I
like the
started I started
queen,
listening to her catalog when I was
queen.
prepping for this. I'm just like, oh, just amazing. All right, so here's the will. Guys, let's not have this be your will, please. But you can just see it's a little difficult to see what's happening here. To whom it may concern and being of it should say sound, so
On
sound
mine.
mind and my will last testimony. So you see it's a little bit difficult. And then there's areas where it's just like, what's happening?
Yeah, and I mean that's one of those things where they could definitely, could get a handwriting person analysis. I mean, if that's how that would be a very hard thing, I think, to forge. If it was actually being analyzed, because that's how she writes everything. So it's not about just being messy. I'm sure there's still an organization to that chaos that you just saw, but that was insane.
Yeah, so I
Um,
guess this was actually like a 5-year process. And so what happens is if you don't have a trust, and this is why it's really good to get a trust into place plus a will and have kind of your estate, is so that you don't your family, right, your heirs, they don't have to go through probate court. You have to go to probate even if you have a will. And if especially if you don't. Okay. So this thing went through probate because there was only a will and there was kind of this dispute over which one controls.
Yeah,
So
who
anyway,
controls it and how much they were gonna get. Then there was like all kinds of stipulations on the other will. Like they had to like her sons in order to get their share, they had to attend like some like a business schools and complete them in order for them to get that. But the new one, I don't think had that like any kind of
yeah.
stipulations.
Yes, this was in a Michigan courtroom. There was an actual trial. We'll tell you which one they decided on. But in any case, so the two sons
Yeah,
were basically looking at this because in the older will from 2010, it said that in order to receive the weekly and monthly kind of not salaries, but what do you call it?
stipends. Is that the right word?
Stipends, allowance. That's the word.
Allowances.
So in order to receive that, you had to be pursuing a
Mm,
business degree. So I mean, nothing, nothing too aggressive. But we're talking about an $18 million estate.
yeah,
So this is a lot of money. And what the jury ended up finding, it was that the 2014 version that we just showed you with the
right.
handwritten scribble that was not witnessed or notarized was in fact going to be the
Yeah.
controlling document. And personally, I'm glad to hear that because you know
Yeah,
what? If there's some little like administrative step or technicality that wasn't satisfied, I want my last wishes to
right,
be respective. It's my $18 million.
right.
Do as I ask,
I think it just
alive
gets
or not.
Yeah, I think it just gets kind of difficult, and where it comes into question is just obviously state of mind when people are doing it. I think that's how the family looks at it. But then at the same point, that's what they wanted to do. I mean, if they were into, you know what I mean? Like if they're, I don't know. But that is helpful, and just just a reminder to everybody, make sure that you have a will. I have a will. I hope on knock on wood, I don't die anytime soon, but like I made sure I got that kind of taken care of. Um, and
That's
just
right.
something to do,
So
yeah.
so one of the siblings KLF Franklin, he's going to inherit a large portion of Franklin's personal property. This includes a home in Bluefield Hills, as well as her personal vehicles, and also just expressed relief and satisfaction, saying that this has been a very long, hard road. And, so for my family and my children, we're just very happy to have kind of a conclusion. So, yeah, when it comes to just kind of having your affairs in order, no one likes to think about this stuff, but I mean, even me as like an entertainment attorney with my law firm, we absolutely do estate stuff because
Yeah.
entertainers, when it comes to ownership of your intellectual property and what happens with the revenues from your contracts, like all of that has
Yeah.
to absolutely be put to paper. So we do that for them as well. So please get your estate paperwork in order.